Sagittarius, if you write these 3 numbers on your hand, you will attract wealth and success in 2025. You didn't stumble on this video by accident. You didn't click out of boredom or curiosity. Whether you realize it or not, you were called here by something bigger, older, quieter, something that speaks not in words, but in signs, whispers, numbers, patterns you thought were coincidences, but they weren't, because the universe has been trying to reach you. And now, you're finally listening. Sagittarius, this is not just your zodiac. This is your soul's blueprint. You are not ordinary. You aren't made to follow the rules, to live in someone else's timeline, or to shrink yourself to fit into what the world expects. You were born under fire. Not the fire of destruction, but the fire of exploration, seeking, and relentless expansion. Your arrow doesn't point inward, it points outward, always forward, toward possibility, toward purpose. And in 2025, the sky is shifting. A rare alignment of energy is unfolding. One that opens doors not for everyone, but for those who are awake, for those who are watching, for those ready to receive what they've spent years preparing for. If you're watching this, it means you're one of them. Not because you're lucky, but because you're aligned. Right now, a portal is opening. A window in time where wealth, purpose, and divine timing can merge if you know how to step through it. And this ritual, the one you're about to learn, is not a gimmick. It's a key. A code is written not in logic, but in vibration. And you are the lock it was made to open. But here's the truth most won't tell you. The universe doesn't shout, it whispers. And for years, you've heard that whisper in your dreams, in your restlessness, in your quiet longing for more, not just more money, but more meaning, more alignment, more truth. This is your moment, not to hustle, not to prove, but to remember who you are. Why did you come, and what waits for you on the other side of this ritual? So take a breath, close your eyes, feel the weight of this moment, not as pressure, but as promise. You've been preparing for this, even if you didn't know it. And now the universe is ready to meet you. All it asks is that you show up. The left hand code. Why your left hand is the gateway to prosperity. When we think about abundance, we often imagine chasing it, running towards some external reward, some distant finish line. But the truth is, real wealth doesn't come from chasing. It comes from aligning. It comes from receiving. And receiving begins with your left hand. Across centuries and civilizations, mystics, healers, and spiritual masters have spoken of the left hand not as a passive part of the body, but as a sacred vessel. In energy medicine, the left side of your body is the receiving channel. It draws in the universal flow. It absorbs intention. It catches blessings. But why does this matter to you, Sagittarius? Because you were never meant to live small. You were born under a sign of expansion, of cosmic movement. But movement without focus can scatter your energy. This next step is decisive. It gives your spirit a place to land. A ritual that roots your desire deep into the earth's current and the universe's flow. This is not just esoteric poetry. When you write numbers on your left hand, you anchor frequency into form. You are speaking the language of the subconscious, the only language that genuinely reprograms your reality. And here's where it gets fascinating. At exactly minute 3 of this journey, something begins to shift for many viewers. Some feel a soft pulse in their palm. Others sense a strange magnetism in their fingertips. But right before they click away, most miss the message that could rewrite their financial destiny. You're not going to be one of them. Because what I'm about to tell you isn't just a ritual, it's a revelation. In traditions from Kabbalah to Eastern mysticism, from Hermetic texts to esoteric Christianity, the left hand has always symbolized the intuitive, magnetic, and deeply receptive feminine current. It's the palm the universe pours into if it finds you open enough to receive. And writing on that palm, it's like lighting a beacon. You're sending a signal. I'm ready. I'm open. I welcome what's already mine. And when that signal is sent, consistently and consciously, magic begins. Not the fairy tale kind. The kind is rooted in quantum alignment, where your beliefs, body, and frequency begin to match the reality you've been craving. Still not convinced? Let me share something. There was a woman named Angela. She was a Sagittarius, like you. She had struggled for years with job instability, constantly feeling like money slipped through her fingers no matter how hard she worked. One night, she stumbled across this exact teaching. Skeptical but curious, she wrote the 3 numbers will soon reveal on her left hand every morning for 33 days straight. On day 17, she received a phone call from a company she'd applied to months ago, offering her a position that matched her dream job description and came with a salary double what she'd ever earned. Coincidence? Or had she finally tuned her hand, the hand of receiving, into the right frequency? You get to decide what you believe. But here's what you need to know. Your left hand is more than flesh and bone. It's your spiritual antenna, your energetic gateway, your silent prayer. When you write on it, you're not defacing your skin. You're inscribing intention onto the scroll of your life. So pause, look at your left hand. What does it mean to you now? In just a moment, I'll reveal the 3 numbers that can unlock the doors you've been trying to force open for years. But you must promise one thing. Don't just write them. Receive them. With belief, with patience, with the kind of sacred expectation that turns paper into prophecy. The universe isn't waiting, it's watching. The ritual of 3. Unlocking the numbers that speak to the stars. There's something primal about numbers. Long before we use them to calculate, we use them to interpret. We etched them into cave walls, cast them in rituals, followed them in the stars. To some, numbers are logic, but to the initiated, numbers are codes, frequencies, keys. And today, you're about to receive 3 of them. These numbers are not random. They are sacred frequencies aligned with the energetic blueprint of Sagittarius. Frequencies that resonate with your purpose, strengths, and most profoundness regarding abundance. But before I reveal them, take a deep breath. This isn't just information, it's initiation. We begin with the number 5. 5 is the number of movements, changes, and bold expansions. It is the energy of breakthroughs, sudden shifts that feel like chaos, but are in truth divine reordering. In numerology, 5 represents freedom and unpredictability. In tarot, it's linked to the Hierophant, the spiritual teacher, the bridge between heaven and earth. And in astrology, 5 resonates with Mercury, quick-witted, communicative, and financially agile. Sagittarius, this number mirrors your soul. You're not here to sit still, you're wired for more. But sometimes that same hunger leads to distraction. There are too many paths, too many open doors. 5 is your North Star, guiding you to trust the chaos, to let go of control, and to ride the wave of opportunity when it comes. When you write the number 5 on your left hand, you're making a declaration to the universe. I am open to the unexpected. I invite wild blessings. I welcome disruption that leads to destiny. Now let's move to the second number, 7. Where 5 is the catalyst, 7 is the compass. It is the number of inner wisdom, divine timing, and hidden truths. 7 doesn't shout, it whispers, it nudges, it speaks to you in dreams, gut feelings, and sudden clarity. In numerology, it represents the seeker, the one who looks deeper. In astrology, it aligns with Neptune, the planet of vision, spirituality, and mysticism. Sagittarius, this is where your fire meets water. You have bold dreams, but without intuition, boldness becomes recklessness. The number 7 helps you tune into what others miss. Opportunities that don't look flashy but carry gold beneath the surface. When you write the number 7 on your hand, you're telling your subconscious, I trust my instincts. I see beyond appearances. I follow the quiet voice within. And finally, we arrive at the crown jewel of this ritual, the number 9. 9 is the number of completion, mastery, and spiritual wealth. It is the energy of a full circle, where you are no longer chasing but receiving, no longer striving but embodying. 9 is connected to Jupiter, your ruling planet, and that's no coincidence. Jupiter governs expansion, abundance, and higher wisdom, everything Sagittarius is born for. But 9 is not just the end, it is the threshold. It says you've done the work, you've burned through the lessons. Now open your hands and let the blessings fall. When you inscribe the number 9 on your left hand, you're anchoring the final phase of the ritual. I claim my wealth. I complete the cycle. I become the vessel that holds abundance. Together, these numbers form a sacred triad. 5 opens the portal. 7 guides the path. 9 anchors the fulfillment. They are not steps. They are states of being. And when you write them on your left hand, in that exact order, with full awareness, you align yourself with a universal current that's always been there, waiting for you to receive. Now pause for a moment. Feel the energy shift in the air. Imagine the numbers etched in light across your palm. Can you sense it? This is not imagination. This is activation. But here's the thing. Just knowing the numbers is not enough. The power lies in how you write them, when, and with what intention. In the next part, we'll dive into that. Because a code, no matter how powerful, is useless unless it's entered correctly. You're not just holding a ritual. You're holding the keys to a door only you were meant to open. Let's keep going. Write it right. How to perform the ritual that unlocks financial frequency. Knowing the numbers is only half the equation. The other half, most people miss, is how you use them. Because in the realm of energy, intention isn't a thought, it's a vibration. And the ritual you're about to learn isn't just about writing on your hand, it's about writing into the fabric of your reality. So, let's begin. You initiate a new cycle when you choose to write the sacred numbers. 5, 7, 9 onto your left hand, not just financially, but energetically, spiritually, and even neurologically. But like any ritual, the power isn't in the act alone. The magic lives in the method. Let's talk materials. Choose your ink with care. This isn't the time for random pens or fading markers. Red ink is associated with action, power, and courage, perfect for activating energy. Gold or yellow ink ties into wealth, clarity, and solar energy, ideal for amplifying abundance. Blue ink, intense indigo, connects to intuition and protection. Whatever color you choose, let it be intentional. Write the numbers clearly, one by one, on the center of your left palm, not too close to the wrist or the fingers. This space receives energy directly, the same space healers use in Reiki, where ancient diagrams place the hand chakras. As you write, speak each number out loud, but don't just say it, breathe it. Mean it, declare it. 5, I open the door. 7, I trust the guidance. 9, I receive what's mine. Now pause, close your eyes and visualize golden light flowing from above you, moving gently through the top of your head, down your spine, into your heart, and finally radiating out into your left hand. See it surrounding the numbers like a glowing aura, pulsing with quiet power. Hold that image, then whisper, softly but clearly, I receive, I allow, I align. This isn't a chant, it's a contract. A sacred agreement between your consciousness and the currents of the universe. And here's where many rituals fall apart. Timing. Don't just perform this whenever you feel like it. There are moments when the veil between thought and manifestation is thinner. Early morning, right after waking, is one of them. Your subconscious is still active, impressionable, and more open to suggestion. Sunset is another powerful window. Energy is naturally in transition when light and dark merge. Perform the ritual once a day daily, simultaneously establishing a rhythm, a pattern, a pulse. This consistency doesn't just build a habit, it builds momentum in the field around you. If you skip a day, don't panic, but do recommit. This isn't about perfection, it's about presence. And remember, the universe doesn't respond to neediness, it responds to clarity, to certainty. You must act not as if you're asking, but as if you're receiving what's already yours. Let's talk about the next 33 days because this ritual isn't a one-time miracle. It's a journey, a reprogramming of your energy system, a rewiring of how you relate to money, success, and your worth. But we'll cover that next. For now, your task is simple. Write, speak, see, receive. That's the ritual. Don't complicate it. Don't rush it. Don't second-guess it. Your left hand holds more power than you've ever realized. It is your spiritual landing pad, a place where the unseen meets the seen. Energy meets skin, and intention takes root. So take the pen, write the numbers, and watch as reality begins to bend, not because you forced it, but because you finally aligned with it. The 33-day commitment, planting the seeds of wealth through sacred repetition. By now, you've held the ritual in your hand. You've spoken the numbers, visualized the light, and opened the gates. But this is where most people stop. They taste the magic once, then expect the world to bend overnight. That's not how fundamental transformation works. Not in nature, not in energy, not in you. Change is never a single spark. It's a slow-burning fire, the kind you tend to each day until it becomes self-sustaining. And that's why the ritual must continue, for 33 consecutive days. Let me explain why this number matters. In spiritual numerology, 33 is known as the master teacher. It's the number of compassion, expansion, and higher frequency services. It carries the vibration of those who move from survival to significance, who don't just want wealth for themselves, but want to become vessels of abundance for the world around them. But more than that, 33 is a psychological threshold. Science tells us it takes about 21 to 30 days to rewire a habit, embrace belief, and shift identity at the neurological level. But 33? That's beyond habit. That's devotion. That's the space where intention becomes instinct, where action becomes embodiment. So here's what you do. Each day, preferably at the same time, return to the ritual. Pick up the same pen, sit in the same space, breathe with the same reverence. Write the numbers 5, 7, and 9 on your left hand with full attention. Speak them out loud. Visualize golden light swirling into your palm. Affirm the truth. I am not hoping. I am receiving. Wealth flows to me now because I am aligned with it. My life is a magnet for financial miracles. Then go about your day. But here's the subtle key. Carry the awareness. As you use your hands, whether driving, eating, or holding a door, glance at your palm. Let the sight of those numbers trigger a silent mantra. Let it remind you that you're no longer operating from scarcity, but from sacred certainty. You might not see results on day 1. You might not feel different on day 10. But somewhere between days 14 and 21, something will shift. You'll notice unexpected income, a job offer, a debt is forgiven, or maybe something quieter, a peace you haven't felt in years around money, confidence when checking your bank account, clarity about what you deserve. These are not side effects. These are signals, proof that your vibration is changing, and with it, your reality. But you must stay the course. If you miss a day, forgive yourself, then return stronger. Not because the ritual punishes you, but because you honor your word to yourself. And by day 33, something powerful happens. You'll stop doing the ritual for the result. You'll start doing it for the reminder that you are not broken, that wealth is not separate, that abundance is not earned, it's aligned with. Can you commit, not to a god, not to me, but to yourself, to your becoming, to the version of you that no longer hopes for wealth but receives it as a birthright? This is not a game. This is not a gimmick. It's 33 days, and it may change in the next 33 years. Start today. The universe has already said yes. When faith meets practice, the stories of those who dared to believe. It's one thing to hear about rituals. It's another to practice them. But the real magic happens when someone chooses to believe, not just in the process, but in themselves. Let me tell you about Ava. Ava was a single mother of 2, working a job that barely covered the bills. Sagittarius by birth, always dreamed big. But dreaming felt like a luxury she couldn't afford. Life as she knew it was about survival. Then scrolling through YouTube at 2 a.m. one night, she stumbled across the ritual, the numbers, the left hand, the 33-day journey. She hesitated. It sounded beautiful, but naive. Still, something in her said, "You've tried everything else. Try this with your whole heart." So she did. Every morning, before the kids woke up, she lit a candle, took her red pen, and wrote 5, 7, 9 on her left palm. She whispered the affirmations. She visualized light. Some mornings, she cried through it. Others, she felt nothing. But she showed up for 33 days straight. On day 22, her old college friend, someone she hadn't spoken to in years, messaged her out of the blue. They were starting a business. They needed a content creator. They thought of her. The salary? Triple what she made before. Coincidence or cosmic response? Now, Ava says the ritual wasn't just about money. It was about remembering that she had the power all along to align, ask, and attract. Then there's Michael, a 47-year-old Sagittarius entrepreneur who had hit rock bottom after a failed investment wiped out his savings. He was skeptical of anything remotely woo-woo. But curiosity got the better of him. Instead of writing on his palm, he tattooed the numbers 5, 7, 9 in invisible UV ink just under his wrist. It was his quiet rebellion, his version of belief. Weeks later, he landed a partnership that resurrected his business, and he also found himself sleeping better, worrying less, and leading differently. When asked if it was the ritual, he smiled. "I don't know what shifted first, my energy or actions, but I know they stopped working against each other." These aren't fairy tales. These are real people who decided to stop doubting what could go wrong and started leaning into what might go right. Sagittarius, your story is still being written. And maybe this ritual finds you in the chapter where things start to change. Maybe you've struggled with money your whole life. Maybe you've had success, but never peace. Maybe deep down you're terrified that it'll never be enough, no matter how hard you work. But what if it wasn't about working harder? What if it was about realigning? What if everything you've wanted has been waiting for you to stop chasing and start receiving? Because that's what this ritual is. Not just ink on the skin, not just numbers, but a symbolic shift in how you show up for your future. There are thousands of Sagittarians out there just like you who've tried this. Some saw money flow in, others found clarity, a few rediscovered joy. But all of them found something, because they chose not just to believe in a ritual, they chose to believe in themselves. Now the only question is, will you? The whisper within, the final message the universe has been waiting for you to hear. You've come this far, through intention, through ritual, through story. You've heard the numbers, you've met the practice, you've seen what happens when people dare to believe. But there's one more voice you haven't heard yet, your own. The ritual is not complete until it passes through you, your hands, breath, and conviction. Because truthfully, this was never about numbers. It was never about magic ink or secret formulas. It was about awakening the part of you that remembers. Remember that you are not here to suffer, not here to chase endlessly. You're not here to prove your worth through exhaustion. You are here to receive, to walk in alignment, to live as someone who trusts the whisper instead of shouting over the silence. And maybe this video didn't give you anything new. Maybe it simply returned you to what you've always known. That when you pause, when you breathe, when you take a moment to draw light into your hand and inscribe meaning onto your skin, you are not just practicing a ritual. You are practicing being you fully. Sagittarius, you were never meant to live small. The arrow in your symbol doesn't point backward. It points forward, into the unknown, into expansion, into the destiny that waits when you finally stop running in circles and start listening to the pull of your soul. You may be asking, what happens after the 33rd day? The answer? You do. You happen. You shift. You step into the version of yourself who no longer waits for permission to receive, but lives as if it's already done. And from that energy, everything else follows. So if you're still wondering whether this works, whether it's real, whether you're ready, let me offer you this. You're here, right now, reading these words, holding this energy in your body, already means you've begun. The universe has always been speaking to you. The signs, the patterns, the dreams. This video, it wasn't the beginning. It was the confirmation that you're in the right place, at the right time, with the right keys. All that's left, it is for you to use them. Now go. Write the numbers, breathe the light, walk the path. And when abundance arrives, don't act surprised. You are the one who whispered it into existence.